there I was, playing the crap out of one of the best minigames they have ever added to Nikke. And that's when a thought popped into my head. Is Nikke really still worth playing in 2025, as either a new player or even a veteran? And that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. Gacha games are a fun thing to spend your time and money on, whether you're wanting to learn about a new and exciting world, beautiful characters, or just looking for something new. Games like Azure Lane, Genshin Impact, Love in Deep Space, and even Fire Emblem Heroes offer tons of unique experiences. Nikke is a rather interesting game that might interest you, or already has. If you're a continuing player or just a curious cat, this video will give you insight on Nikke below just the surface level. So let's get right on into it. If you're watching this video, I assume you already have a rough idea what Nikke is like, so we're going to break it down into some quick categories to get you informed. Starting with the most important part, the core gameplay. While Nikke has tons of different enemy types and bosses with parts and quick time events, gameplay is a lot more than just being in combat and shooting raptures. It's the menus, the sub-menus, the user experience, the UI. All the different places you visit while playing Nikke, and being honest, that's probably the place where you spend the majority of your time. And while it can certainly get repetitive, Nikke's menus are rather intuitive for new players. There's one main menu screen, the lobby, with two other sub-menus, the outpost and the arc, with the lobby being customizable with characters, backgrounds, animation, and music. These three menus house everything you need to complete your day-to-day dailies. Dailies can be an absolute grind. Set aside 30 minutes or less depending on if the game decides to be laggy as shit or not. But a good thing is that ShiftUp is constantly developing ways to streamline dailies and make them less of a slog, so that's always welcome. By the way, if you are having a laggy game experience, I suggest when you start up the game, click the clear cache button. Sometimes that helps out. Different weapon types, elemental codes, and burst phases help keep the gameplay fresh and fun, allowing you to approach each challenge differently. Skins are always a fun way of dressing up your Nikkes, offering new looks, voice lines, and even animations. Next is story content, and oh man does Nikke have content. From the first chapter all the way to the major events, Nikke is crammed full of lore and stories. Bond stories, lost relics, advices, and even the items in your inventory. There are plenty to read and much to see. The main campaign offers the main storyline in a linear, easy-to-follow path, introducing characters that we have or have yet to be released. Events, different from side stories, are the next most common way of getting lore in Nikke. With every Nikke that is released, an event accompanies them, with said character in the spotlight. I'm going to give you a bit of advice. Other than major events, don't feel pressured to read every single event in the game. Nikke is a game that seriously suffers from event fatigue with the relentless unit releases every few weeks. There are no gaps in between events, so don't wear yourself out. I consider myself the archive man of Nikke because of a feature known as the archive system. I have a video guide on it you should check out if you don't really know where to start. The archive system allows you to visit past events that get added to the system after enough time has passed. You don't even miss out on the lobby background rewards. Before moving on to the next category, I want to briefly mention that Nikke actually has some of the best music of any live service game. Like, insane variety and insanely good quality. Cosmograph, you are great. If you happen to be checking out this video during a Nikke collab, then you've come to the right place. Collaborations are a good way to keep the game fresh and introduce Nikke to other franchises, and vice versa. However, Nikke's track record with collabs has been less than stellar than the blade that Eve uses. FOMO is a huge concern, and collabs don't often rerun, except for the Nier collab, which that story was amazing. Oddball collabs like Dave the Diver often feel out of place in the dystopian Nikke universe. Collabs like ReZero and Evangelion completely omit the main character of the franchise, making the story feel rather forced sometimes. At least Denji and Aki were in Nikke during the Chainsaw Man collab. Evangelion especially didn't perform as the devs expected. Making things worse, they were locked into a two-part collab contract. So when the first collab didn't generate enough revenue that they predicted, the second one was a big oof. Also, more proof that the Eva collab was really bad, Marciana's gacha skin made more money in sales. And that kind of leads me to the next topic, the developers of Nikke, ShiftUp. Coming hot off of closing Destiny Child's servers, ShiftUp announced Nikke, and it topped the charts the moment it was released. Early in the game's life, ShiftUp was laser focused on bringing the most emotionally impactful and beautiful stories possible. with a polish and communication that gacha gamers dreamt of. But when Shift Up went from a private company to a public company on July 11th, 2024, it was clear that their focus shifted ever so slightly. Right now in the main campaign, it's been chapter after chapter of next to nothing, filler chapters when we used to not have any. Blah Blah Link is definitely something. The launch of the Chinese servers was a horrible shit show that they hopefully have learned from, and their quality control has not really been amazing. Laggy interfaces, messed up translations, some visual anomalies. Every update comes with a new slew of BS that seems like it was rushed out the door. The 2.5 anniversary event offered us a rather slow story, showing us more of Mori than it did the Little Mermaid, the main character in all the advertisements. Being a public company, their value isn't determined by their player base, but rather what their shareholders believe it is. And because of that, keep that in mind whenever they do anything. I was gonna do a controversies category, but I kind of already covered them, so with all that said, the big question, should you play Nikke, or keep playing Nikke? Yes, you should. Yeah, you should. There's really not much to lose and a lot to potentially gain. Nikke has seriously good music, the stories are beautiful and engaging, and it's even fully voice acted in the campaigns and major events, in English, Japanese, or its native language of Korean. Nikke is one of the most interesting and unique gacha games out there because it's not only easy to get into, but easy to continue. You don't need the latest and greatest Pilgrims or overspec Nikkes to clear the campaign stories and chapters and yada yada. You don't need that. You will eventually be able to progress due to your rising combat power. Power creep, for the most part, is non-existent as it is a primarily PvE game. There is no PvP except for Arena, which that is not something you directly have control over. That's just... you don't even have to worry about that. The game is insanely generous with its resources, and even though the drop rates are pretty rough sometimes, you will be given plenty of opportunities to pull, upgrade, enhance, and improve your Nikkes. The developers, Shift Up, do actively listen to their user base, fixing bugs and translation errors and even animation errors. Player surveys are published often, allowing you to give them feedback on the game and features. And you get some gems for participating, even if over half of the questions are just about their social media thing. Speaking of which, Blah Blah Link. If you really want to immerse yourself in the ecosystem of Nikke players, there is an official community supported and developed by the creators of Nikke. Blah Blah Link is a place where players can go and share fan art and post theories and comment on videos and a bunch of cool stuff. There's plenty of official hosted events as well involving the players, and there are plenty of real-life rewards. Not to mention the amount of high-quality, insanely fun-to-play minigames that come out with every single major event that end up getting added to the arcade system for you to play whenever you want. It's a really good game. It really is. Whether you're here for the fan service or not, Nikke honestly does have it all. It's been out for almost 3 years now, and I personally don't foresee it going anywhere anytime soon. For me, I started playing when Fire Emblem Heroes got really repetitive and the new content just stopped coming. The other gacha game that I play, Azure Lane, is a waifu collector, as they say. I just hop on, play for a little bit, and I'm done. And the same thing can be said for Nikke. You can take a break and come back, and you're not really going to be missing much, thanks to the catch-up systems of like the archives and just how really good the resources that you get are, especially now that they've been working on improving that over time. Shift Up is really committed to this game. The game is getting better and better, but it is really obvious when there are things that are rushed, and the things that are rushed are really rough. But for the most part, that's any game. Any game's going to have the good, and it's going to have the bad. And hey, if you're not enjoying the more modern content, go check out the archive system. You can enjoy Nikke's past, and it's really something to behold. It really is. Because that's where it all started. Go check out Overzone. It's great. Go check it out again if you've already seen it. Please like, share, and subscribe if you found this video informative, and send this to somebody who might be considering playing Nikke. Maybe this will help them make their decision to play it or not. I'm here to help. That's what I like to do. And if you enjoy this type of content, maybe some theories here and there, maybe some character analysis, some event overviews, that's kind of what I do here, a little bit of just general Nikke stuff. So please consider subscribing. I'm Gnungagap III, acolyte of the goddess Talos, and I will see you all later at an undisclosed time.